E aí, galera, WeGon na área! Hoje, primeira entrevista nossa aqui no Egito. It's our first interview here in Egypt. Yes! Primeira entrevista aqui no Egito. Mas a gente tá com uma americana. A gente tá aqui com a Phoenix Kazree. Is that right?
Oh, that's
It's
right.
like Kazree. She came here to the Middle East because she was doing a tour around, and then she stopped here in Egypt to teach us. The workshop last night was very nice, and I want to know a little bit more about your story, about your career into pole. You've been in Broadway and The Lion King, so I think we have lots of things to talk about. Yes. And your style, we all recognize you for your strength and your smooth transitions and all that. I would like you to talk a little bit more about it. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
So first question is, how did your journey start? Like, have you always been into pole, or is pole new in your life?
I mean, pole is fairly new in my life. It's a little over 8 years now. But before pole, I was a gymnast when I was a child. So I was a gymnast first, and then I started dancing, and I was dancing well into my adult life, and I found pole while I was dancing with Lion King. I was taking some aerial classes that I had found. I was doing like lyra, silks, static trapeze, things like that. And it was fun, but while I was taking these classes, the ladies who were in my class were talking about their pole class. And I'm like, what's pole? And they were explaining it, you know, I'm like, oh, so you mean like stripper class? They're like, no, it's not like stripper class. I'm like, well, it sounds like stripper class. That sounds like fun. I'm coming, I'm gonna take this stripper class. After that first class, that was it. Like, I was done. I was like, I wanna do this every day for the rest of my life. So my first class was in heels. It was like the intro class, and you just kind of walk around the pole, you crawl around and, you know, do some kind of sexy gyrations. And it was very different than the type of dance that I had been used to doing. Everything I was doing was very structured, very academic-like, all about technique. And this was just fun. It wasn't difficult for me. It wasn't challenging at all, but it was just fun. And that's what I liked. It was fun and free. So it was, a chance for me to express myself and not have to worry about the thought process of being technical. Of course, that's changed, the way I've progressed with pole over the years, but that's what drew me in at the beginning. It was nice.
You've been 13 years, right, around America traveling with the Lion King. Yes. How was this experience? How is it to be far from home and your family and all that?
It was interesting. When I I started with the Los Angeles company, and we thought it was going to be like a 6-month contract, and it ended up being 2 years. So that was great. And I actually wasn't touring them. We were based in Los Angeles, so I was with my family. My son was actually born while I was doing the show. And it's funny because his name is Tarek Laziz Kazree, and his initials are TLK. The same as the Lion King. Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. And people would always carry him up like Simba, like, he's the first Lion King baby in Los Angeles. So yeah, it was interesting. And then after that, we went to Chicago for a year, and we were in Chicago for 1 year. So I brought my family with me. So it was easy. And then we went to San Francisco for 1 year. I brought my family with me. So now we're on 4 years now. And after that, that's when they wanted to start this tour. And at the time, my son was like 3.5, and my husband was like, it's going to be hard moving around with a child, every 6 to 8 weeks. So we decided to get a home so they could be stable. And then I traveled home as often as I could, and they traveled to me as often as I could, and that continued for like another, 8-9 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've been around the world a lot, right?
I've been on every continent.
Yes. And you were here in Egypt because you said you were doing a Middle East tour.
Yes.
And I found it very interesting because we usually don't know that much about the Middle East and all that. And I want to know, like, from you, what have you experienced traveling around? What do you think it was like the highlight of your all these years traveling?
Of all my travels, I think what was really exciting to me was just going to Oman and to Kuwait and not knowing how, interested the ladies in, there were into pole. You just never thought about it. Even when I found out that there was pole in Dubai and pole in Egypt, I was like, really? I'm just really thankful and really blessed that I can do what I love and have it, take me around the world to meet people who love to do what I do and love what I do enough to want me to share,
Yes.
My knowledge in pole and my knowledge in dance, my knowledge in acrobatics and all the things that I've done before pole. I try to incorporate all that. I remember being young, growing up in dance and gymnastics and looking at people and like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take class with this person.
Yeah.
I think when I walk into a classroom, into a pole class, and people are feeling that same way about me that I felt about other people. And it's just nice to know that all of your hard work and your passion that you put in is now being appreciated by a younger generation, sometimes an older generation. I have a lot of private clients who are a lot older than me, 20 years older than I am.
How is it to be a black girl inside like a white community, like was it hard for you? How did you feel in the beginning?
Well, for me, pretty much everything. Growing up in gymnastics, at the time you see a lot of the top gymnasts now are, African Americans, black, whatever you want to call it. But at the time there weren't so many. When I was doing ballet, there weren't so many. All of my dance, there weren't so many. It's never been foreign to me to be one of the only ones. But it's always really exciting when I travel around and I see another one. If I'm in a camp, and I see another one, or if I'm in class last night, there was one black girl. But there is a really big community of black pole dancers, and they're up and coming. And, we see that last year at PSO, which is the Pole Sport Organization, which is the biggest competition circuit in the U.S. Our national champions, first, second, and third, were all black. So we're there. Just look out. We're there. See us.
And is there anything else you'd like to say to your fans out there and to even your Brazilian fans and people who get inspired by your work?
Well, I'll just say thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for watching everything that I do. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for showing up to my workshops. Thank you for booking me for private lessons. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the hugs. Thank you for the smiles. But just thank you. A lot of times I go into the studio and it's like, okay, I'm working on this, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to figure out, a cooler way into this or a different way to be more creative to post for the people. I want to do it for the gram, Yeah. And it's not just for the gram. It's not just for the likes or for the comments or anything. It's just for the people to appreciate, and to give something back to the community to help it grow. Because in the end, that's what's going to make pole thrive and get bigger. And yeah, there's always the cool move that you want to try that you just saw on Instagram. That's great, but you can't just get stuck in that. You have to do your own thing as well. Or if you see that new move, try to make it different. Try to find a new way into it, a new way out of it. That's all.
Would you mind if I ask how old are you?
I'm 43.
You're 43 years old. And what's next for you?
I don't know. Well, yeah. I plan to be polling till forever. Like I said, I've got competitive clients of mine that are 20 years older than me. I don't know necessarily that I'm going to compete until that age, but I still want to be hanging upside down. I'm going to be deadlifting until I'm 70. I'm going to be splitting until I'm 80. I'm going to be doing all that stuff. But next, right now, I'm working on, doing pole retreats and pole camps and things like that. And I have one coming up in Bermuda. And then we've got something amazing coming up for the master polers, those of you who are over 40, because there's a lot of us out there. So we're having a special thing just for those, exclusive for polers over 40. So look out for that. Information on that will be coming up in the next month or so.
Very nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so if you don't follow this girl, follow her. It's Phoenix Kazree. We're gonna write it down here for you to follow her. And I would like to say a big thank you for being here. It's such a pleasure to interview you. Like, we are very big fans here in Brazil and all that. And now with our coffees, we're gonna cheers. And that's the end of our interview. Thank you. Bye bye.